Hey everybody, hey everybody. Welcome. Happy TGIF Friday, TGIF Friday. And you all, we know that we are celebrating Women's Month. It is March the 20th. And it's so awesome that I wasn't able to do this yesterday because our webinars were for the 9th, the 18th, and 19th. But somehow we failed up on the 20th. There is another webinar that will be posted from one of our coaches, Deep Shaka. Actually, she was presenting that live, but she's also going to upload that one for you as well, talking about the small powerful habits. So I hope you guys will enjoy that. But we are live from our website, WCD Coaching Incorporated. So if you're there, you can watch. We are live on LinkedIn, our LinkedIn page, and we're live from my Coach Karen Oliver YouTube channel as well. So we are live streaming on several different platforms this morning. There were some kinks and things with our streaming to our website because that's something new that I think that different people's or different companies' websites has been doing. So we are having to get encoders and copy and paste encoders. But anyway, we are here. It is Women's Month, and I'm so glad to be presenting. She is priceless. I am the CEO and founder of WCD Coaching Incorporated, along with a great team and staff. I am very thankful and grateful to have them, and we're still expanding. And I love the work that each and everyone does on my team. But I am definitely so happy to just be celebrating still 6 years. And today is another official anniversary of my own personally, along with the company, because this was a day that I dedicated myself fully to purpose, fully to committed to my dreams and my purpose personally, professionally, and spiritually. And that's what we do here at WCD Coaching. So, for some of you all who don't know me, my name is Karen Oliver. I am a coach, an entrepreneur, a rising author, a podcaster. We are also too celebrating going into 6 seasons for with Dream Fearless podcast. So we're still taking recordings for that. So there's a lot of there's several anniversaries that we're celebrating, and I'm glad about it. I'm thankful. Thank you all for your support. Thank you all for your shares, and I'm just so glad. Thank you to 6 years. Thank you for your support. Continue to keep growing with us, and we want to continue to keep growing with you. So it is Women's Month on today, March the 20th, 2026. We are going to be talking about She is Priceless. There is also, too, a another masterclass online called She is Priceless, A Woman's Strength. That's an addition to this webinar, and you can go take that at your own leisure. That is a paid masterclass on our site, but it's very phenomenal, and it's called The Strength of a Woman. We did that masterclass just for our women for Women's Month. So we have a lot of things out there, so we want you guys to go out there and visit, and hope that we can assist you in any way that we can. But we're going to get into this webinar. She is Priceless. It's Women's National Month celebration, and we are going to be honoring strength, value, and impact of every woman out there, personally, professionally. Every woman, every young lady, every young girl out there, because our generation, they are the future, and it's important for us to leave a legacy behind. It's important for us to show the legacy that we are building, so young women can know how to come after us, and show integrity and be themselves. So I wanted to represent the cover of She is Priceless, because this is, of course, on my left side, you see the lion. And then the female is a lioness, and I hope that I think I am saying that correctly. And we all know that the lion is the king of the jungle. The lioness is the queen of the jungle, and so I thought that it would be a great representation to represent, who we are as women that stand alongside, even still powerful men, even on the universe. And I just thought it was it was different, and it was great to exemplify that analogy, or whatever. And so, believe it or not, we share the same mindset and characteristics, and we do. And even though animals are precious and they were here on earth, um and they grew on earth with human beings, and so the way that the female and male's role play in lion and a lioness, and we as women, we are queens. And so we hold a nurturing, and compassionate standard. We hold a vulnerable standard, and we play so many hats and we play so many roles. So it's important for us to make sure that we are cultivating the generation in our nation. And so I thought that this would be a wonderful, wonderful, great analogy. Um, I'm going to go to slide two. Um, and the purpose of this presentation is to celebrate women and their contributions, inspire confidence in leadership, recognize the value um, women bring to families and communities, um, and encourage an empowerment and support among women. Okay, go to slide three. What is National Month? Because a lot of people, I know we have so many different things that we are celebrating, so many things that um, have made the National Month or National Day. Like the Women's Day was um, March the 7th, and the whole month of March we celebrate. And it's just awesome how a lot of us dedicated ourselves back to something that was so important and valuable to us in the month of March. And it's ironic how they named the month of March Women's National Month, because a lot of us, we've went through so many things, and we crossed so many hurdles, and we've dedicated ourselves to so many things, and we've had to put some things down, and we had to put some things on pause. But then we were able to get back up and to keep fulfilling our purpose, and to keep fulfilling our destiny, and to keep showing up, and to keep showing up consistently. So, what is a Women's National Month? Celebrated in March each year, as I stated, recognizes the achievements of women in history, culture, and society. A time to reflect on progress and continue advancing equality. Why she is priceless, why women are priceless. I wanted to give that name a title. That was when I was creating the webinar and master classes, and I talked with some of my staff. That is the title that I came up with for Women's National Month. I was just like, wow. The name, I seen the name and it stuck out to me, and I said we should do something special for this month for women. And we wanted to do a webinar that was free, even though we have a paid masterclass. We still wanted to do something free for our supporters and for the people who have been on this journey with us. But the title in itself is, why is she priceless? Why is women priceless? Well, she is priceless as a title. And a lot of people want to know, a lot of us out there, we know what women go through. We know what we've had to cross over to, and we know the strength of a woman. And like I said, one of those master classes that we have too on our site is the strength of a woman. But even in our webinar today, it talks a lot about why women are created to be who we um are made to be. And so this question here is, why is she priceless? A woman's value cannot be measured. As I just pretty much summed that up just a little bit, a woman's value cannot be measured. Her influence shapes generations. As I was just talking about the young ladies, and I was talking about the millennials and the adolescents, and talking about how they are the future, they are the generation, and we have daughters, we have nieces. Um, that are looking up to us. We have you know, even other female family members where some of us had to come in and we've had to take care of our cousins, our nieces, our sisters. And as I was just sharing, they are the generation, they are the future. So it's important for us to leave a legacy behind. It is important for us to share this legacy with us and to teach them, because a lot of us wasn't really even taught how to impact ourselves, or how to impact and build legacies or leave a legacy behind, because there's so many things and there's so many trauma that takes place that needs to be broken before we can even get to that point. And that's why a woman's strength, and that's why a woman that is priceless is so strong. And as I was sharing earlier too, that one of our coaches, Deep, she's going to be talking about powerful small habits. She talks about different things where to prevent and break down that trauma, and to deal with that trauma, and to heal from that trauma. And so we do believe in health and wellness. We do believe in transformation, not just mentally but physically, personally, professionally, and spiritually. And that's why WCD Coaching Incorporated's mission is so important, because we have to commit to the work that we're doing, and so we can commit to everyone else's story out there. But just getting back to the slide, why she priceless. The next bullet point is her influence shapes generations. As you know, I was just talking about just a little bit. Her strength builds communities. Her wisdom and leadership creates change. Her wisdom and leadership creates change. And so ironic that it said that, because we just did a fearless scaling leadership masterclass in February. It was around the second week, around this time, the second week that we talked about leadership. We talked about commanding the room. We talked about showing up as your authentic self, and walking in rooms that you were meant to be in, not backing down, but using your God-given talents, and using the gifts and the ideas that's in your hands, making sure that you were consistent, making sure that you were showing up confidently. And so wisdom and leadership creates change. And so we, as women, we have to be wise in decisions, even though, again, going back to some of us wasn't, we wouldn't, some of us really wasn't taught to really surround ourselves within wisdom. But then when we got older, we understood that wisdom and making wise decisions in our personal life, in our professional life, making wise decisions in our spiritual life, that is so important, because it commands us to be a leader. And that means we stand up in leadership, and that we understand what wisdom and leadership means, and we're working every day to it, we're growing towards it. But if we don't have wisdom and leadership, there's no change that can be created, because we have to learn how to be leaders. It's a process, and there are things that every woman will go through. Will go through growth spurts. You will go through growth changes. You will go through different growth seasons, and wisdom and leadership is going to create that change. So I hope this is definitely helping someone, like it's definitely helping myself over and over again. Women who inspire change. As we just talked about, leaders, mothers and caregivers, entrepreneurs, educators, community advocates. Community advocates is so big, and a lot. And I think that me personally, and you all can share your thoughts as well. But I think a lot of community advocators, they get misled. We have a lot of people in community. Um, we have a lot of people in community. They do a lot of work for the community. They do a lot of work for the people. Um, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm just writing some notes. They do a lot of work for the community. They do a lot of work for people, and they get unnoticed. But in reality, there is someone that is really out there watching us. We have people who watch us every day. We have people out there who sees us behind the scenes, whether they comment, whether they say anything. But I want every community advocator or advocate out there to know that you are appreciated, and we are appreciated because we as women, we are making change. Not that we are trying to make change, we are making change for the better. We are making change for the future. And that's what matters. But a lot of recognition, I feel like a lot of community advocates need to be rewarded for the things that they're doing, because those community advocates, they're out there educating, they're out there being an entrepreneur, they are someone's mother, they are someone's caregiver, and they are a leader. That's what resonated with me when I seen this line and when I was actually creating it, when I was actually looking at the women who inspire change. And they're not just professional, but they're women out there every day that you don't even see, that are behind the scenes. Hi, Dr. Swaheen. Thank you so much for joining. Um, Feel free to share. Um, all right, let's go to the next slide. The power of self worth. We talked a lot about self awareness and self worth when we were in our fearless scaling masterclass in mid February. It was awesome. That if you all happen to want that fearless scaling masterclass, feel free to send me an email and I can get you a copy of that PowerPoint of the fearless scaling masterclass, which was good. We talked about the belief system, self-awareness and self-worth. So today, in the She Is Priceless webinar, um, this slide 6 talks about the power of self-worth, knowing your values, setting healthy boundaries, believing in your voice, and investing in personal growth. I talked to someone today. Actually, I was getting interviewed for a magazine for my community, and I had an interview with her this morning, and we were talking about. She asked me a question, and I was discussing about how it's so important for us to invest in our personal growth, but a lot of us don't want to do that. We invest in a lot of other things that is not contributing to our spirit, our mind, our body and soul. It's not benefiting our life, it's not benefiting our purpose, but yet we still invest in those things. And when it comes to investing in your personal growth, it's like we put that on the back burner, or we shy from it. And then in the long run, you understand, look, I need this. I need this healing. I need this. I need for someone to keep me accountable. I need for someone to advocate for me. I want to be successful, but I don't know how. Not only that, I need to learn that failures don't mean that I'm failing at everything. Failure does mean that I'm going to succeed, because if I never fail, and then I won't grow, I won't pivot, and I won't succeed in things. I think that a lot of times we don't sit down and we don't check the box off. We don't sit down and we don't understand the process that we're going to go through when we invest in our personal growth, because we want things so easy. But it's things that are worth doing, things that are worth success, things that are worth that our self worth needs. It's going to be a process. It's not going to be a quick, nothing great is going to come quick. The best, precious things in life are going to be pruned, they're going to be processed, and it's going to take time. Those are the things that are worth waiting for. So it's so important that we invest in our personal growth. And like I said, this slide really resonated with the Fearless Scaling Masterclass that we did in mid-February, because we broke down different details about believing in our voice, setting healthy boundaries, and knowing our value. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out on our website and would love that PowerPoint at your own leisure, again, feel free to email and subscribe to our website. Email us, and we definitely can get it to you. But investing in our personal growth is important, because if we don't, then we can't set those healthy boundaries. We won't know our value, especially if we don't do the work. We won't. Um, And you all, if you happen to come on, if you happen to have a comment or want to share, or if it's something on your mind you want to share later, feel free to post in the comments, and we definitely will get back to you. Slide 7, women in leadership. Women continue breaking barriers. Um, One thing. that I love about the strength of a woman, and the way that I think about a woman being priceless, and I think about myself and my own story and my own background, um, and just the things that I've been through within my 45 years. Um, e- every time that something comes a woman's way, or something, every time it, something comes to knock a woman down, I notice that a woman gets right back up. That a woman will keep on working through her purpose, that she will keep striving, even though you may not see her crying in the background, you may not see her going through in the backgrounds, but when you see her, you're going to see the strength of a woman. You're going to know that she is priceless, because she's always breaking barriers, even though things may come her way. And even though sometimes a woman gets maybe dismayed, or something may be going on in her life, or in her family's life, or whatever the case may be. But she has that stamina to continue to keep breaking barriers, because she knows that a change is going to come. She knows that things are going to be different. And that's why I love about this first bullet point, that women continue to break barriers. Um, leadership comes in many forms. Yes, leadership comes in many forms. And as I was sharing, when I was sharing on slide 5 about how there are so many women in communities now, there are so many women that are advocating for different rights, for different human rights, for different things, whether that be human political rights, whether that be in the healthcare sector or whatever. We have a lot of women out here that is advocating for change in different areas. And so they are a leader in so many forms, and they're standing up for what's right. And so they always want to be a part of that change. And it's important for women to be a part of that change. And that's what I love, because they're not just a leader in one sector or one area um, in their life, but they're connecting themselves with not only just uh, organizations, but they're connecting themselves with nonprofit organizations that need help, and for women to advocate for women, to advocate for people who need help today. Supporting women leaders strengthens organization and communities. As I just yep, and I just was kind of sharing some of that about how so many women, they are supporters in different organizations and communities, and it strengthens them as a leader. And because you grow every day as a woman, you're growing every day when you're supporting, and when you're connecting, and when you're collaborating with these different organizations to bring change. Just like when I think about back in the 60s and 70s, when we had so many leaders, that so many women leaders that were advocating for women's rights, for women's rights to vote, for women's rights to, be a part of something, or an organization that they was banned from because they was a woman. We had so many powerful women back in the 60s and 70s and 80s that were strengthening each other. And even still today, even in the 21st century, they were advocating, and they were marching, not only marching, but they were getting the word out. They built a team, they built a staff, they did interviews, they got out there, they walked the streets in their community, they walk the streets everywhere to go about getting change. So it's very important. Supporting women leaders strengthen organizations and communities. I thought that was very, very, very important. Empowering each other, which is a huge thing, a huge characteristic in our world, even in today. It's important for us to empower each other, and not compare. A lot of us, they were taught. I mean, a lot of, like I said, a lot of people, a lot of women, maybe just wasn't taught that way, or they were just used to doing things that way. But then, when you, what's the slogan they say, when you know better, you do better. So it's like, hey, I don't need to be against my sister. I don't need to compare against my sister. We need to come together, and we need to empower each other. We need to empower one another. So mentorship, which is a big, great thing. I advocate and I push mentorship so hard. It's so important for us to mentor, and get mentored, and be mentored. Even us as professionals get mentored or have been mentored by someone. But mentorship is so important. Collaborating, like I said, instead of competition, networking together, supporting women's goals and visions, and celebrating each other achievements. But mentorship is a big part of it because you're keeping each other accountable. You're helping one another. It may be something that you went through that another woman or another young girl or another young adolescent can, you know, learn from. So it's so important, um, because a lot of times you have the world out there and you have media, social media out there that tries to put this company, woman, black woman owned, or corporate woman owned. It doesn't have to be black African American, but it can just be women companies, and or they can just put two individuals against one another. And then social media and the people outside in the world, they just run with those things. And you have to have a mind, you have to be wise, and you have to have a mind to look at things, with integrity and with the correct way and with the right way, and know that you are not competing against your sister. You're not trying to be better than your sister, but you want your sister to win, just like that sister should want you to win, because empowering each other is what's going to make women impact the world together. You're going to be able to grow, you're going to be able to get things done, you're going to be able to succeed, because you are, celebrating, congratulating one another, you're supporting one another, whether that's physically, whether you're showing up physically for that woman or not. There's other ways to support, each other's goals and visions. And sometimes you just can't be in everything because each person has obligations, but there are ways that you can support and show of your support, show of your love. And so we don't want to be against one another. um, and celebrating, everyone's achievement and small achievements is the best thing. Um, so yeah, this is a big one for us too, as women. Okay. Women leaders of today. Let's look at some women from the 20th century up until now, or just think about some women from the 20th century up until now. And I've shared some of these women even on the podcast, and I had named, some women that I was actually studying in February. And one of them was Betty Shabazz, and Viola Davis, who's an actor and she's a advocate as well. Um, just to name a few, and if you go back, you can, Shirley Cronsham. I hope that I'm pronouncing her last name wrong, right. But just think about some of the women, that you have encountered or that you have studied in the 20th century up until now. What did they do? Who did they serve? Women working in purpose. What did they do for survival? Um, and I also added here too that that women are nurturers at heart. And when you think of them in the 20th century and even beyond, even before that, you think about how they fought so hard. They went through so much turmoil to get to where they were at. Very educated, very smart. But a lot of people, they try to get them to back down and try to stop them from doing, what they needed to do for women's rights, but they would not back down. And that's the thing, they fought. They fighted the good fight, and they kept going. When I say the good fight, that means that it wasn't physical, it wasn't a nasty fight, but it was the fight of that I'm going to keep letting my voice be heard. I'm going to keep letting my voice be heard. I'm going to keep, letting you know that I'm here and that I'm not going anywhere. And as I got a voice, as long as I speak with boldness, as long as I speak with respect, and then I have something to say, and change needs to be met. And that's what I look at about all of, the women back then. And even we have so many great women now within the 21st century, and even going back 30, 40, 50 years ago. Um, it's a legacy that just has been birthed, and a legacy that we still need to carry on as women, as far as standing up for women leaders today. Um, Business women. I just got a couple of photos here with women just working, putting their heart and soul in their purpose and doing what's needed, doing um, what they can do to build that dream and to build that legacy for their daughters, their nieces, building a legacy for the future, for the generation. um, how can we continue the movement? How can we continue the movement? Well, we support women-owned businesses. That's the first thing. We support women-owned businesses, um, of any race. Um, Encourage education and mentorship, as we just seen that on slide 9 and 10. That well, I think that was slide 8 and 9, that we need to encourage and educate. But mentorship is important. We all need to be educated, because as you all heard me say throughout this webinar, that a lot of women just was not taught, or and but now is the time that when you get older and when you get wiser, I know what's right and I know what's wrong. We need to continue to advocate for equality, and we need to lift up the next generation of women leaders. As I have said several times, that it's about lifting up the next generation of women leaders, and advocating for them. Even women and young ladies connected to us, um, they need to understand that we can be as powerful um, as we need to be. We can be as powerful as we want to be. We can show up in rooms um, boldly and respectfully, and we have to have the confidence. We have to show them to show up confidently um, in ourselves, and we have to be confident within ourselves, and we have to be happy within ourselves and love what we do, and love the fact that we have a heart to change things around us as women leaders. So lifting up the next generation of women leaders is what we need. um, our My closing message for this webinar on today is just a little structure of that she is priceless, and strength of a woman message. She is strong, she is resilient, she is powerful, and she is priceless. She is strong, she is resilient, she is powerful, she is priceless. Every woman carries immeasurable value and the ability to shape the future. And I want to say that again. Every woman carries immeasurable value and the ability to shape the future. Um, we women are called in this season, and women have always had that strong sense of resilient. We've always been powerful. We've always been priceless. And we've all had it in us to show up and set the foundation to shape the future because of the change, um, and because of the things that need to be taken care of. And a lot of people and a lot of things and a lot of organizations out there is counting on us today. As women, you're more powerful than you think. And I'm adding that. You're more powerful than you think. You're more strong than you think. You're more priceless than you think. And when I think of this, I think about, and I'm going to go biblical now. I think about the Proverbs 31 woman. Um, and I think about the word of God when the Lord says that she is far more than rubies. You have to know that rubies is expensive. A lot of us, yeah, we're looking. If you look at what a real diamond ruby costs, it's a lot. It's expensive, and it makes me even want to look up the price and just get numbers to what a ruby is. But the word of the Lord said, you are worthy and far more than rubies. That speaks volume. So you have to know that you're priceless. You're powerful, you're resilient, and you're strong, and you're more than what you think, and you can achieve whatever. And I also want to add this to whatever, and don't let anyone define who you are, because you're supposed to know who you are. Dig deep, do some soul searching. Um, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't even let anybody think any otherwise about yourself. You know what you are, and you know who you are, and you know the change that you can bring. You know the change that you can commit to. So commit to it today. I hope this webinar really blessed you. Again, we do have an additional masterclass called It's Still She Is Priceless, but it's called The Strength of a Woman. And there are some additional pieces to this webinar that is on our website. But I hope that you all be encouraged. Feel free to share this webinar out with someone. It is free. You see me here live, so feel free to share this. It will be up, but the it will be taken down in a couple of days. So you all have a couple of days to go back and share with someone or watch it. Feel free to leave your comments. But if you want additional classes or would like to inquire about mentorship or either coaching, please feel free to visit our website with our dedicated team. And I hope you all have a great weekend until I see you next week. Have a great day.